Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, morning Jürgen.
Morning.
Back to the scene of the worst performance ever.
Thank you.
You must have learnt a lot from that afternoon. What will you do differently?
Everything. Yeah, that's the plan, obviously. Yeah, I think, how I said, after the Wolves game, we knew obviously before the Wolves game that that a draw is Brighton, and I think we showed that we really want to go through anyway. So that's football, eh? There's always a new chance. You always can do better, and that's what we obviously will do, and that's it pretty much. But Brighton is in a really good moment. There's no doubt about that.
Any players closer to return?
Closer, yes,
Yeah.
of course, closer.
Or imminent?
No. It will take another couple of weeks, I think, until they can start. Lewis takes longer, but Diogo, Bobby, and Virgil, couple of weeks, and will be part of. Can join training, and then we have to see how quick it goes from there.
Stefan Bajcetic, new contract signed yesterday. A real talent. You must feel he's got a very promising future.
Yeah, absolutely. We knew that was pretty clear from the first moment, but you never know how quick it goes, and so I think we were pretty careful with him because of his age and all these kind of things. But he showed now that he's ready, and for us, very helpful in the situation. So a lot of his natural skills is something we didn't show often enough in the recent games. So the aggression, but a good aggression, not that he kicks players, but he makes really the last step into challenges. Is good football on top of that. So that's obviously very important in the center of the park. And no, I'm really happy, really pleased that he signed this new contract. He deserves it as well, and I think he's really happy about it. So it's good.
And just finally for me, here on Merseyside, could I get your reaction to Frank Lampard's dismissal at Everton across the park?
Yeah, that's the business usually. Yeah? So that's how it goes. And of course, I feel for Frank. He tried everything. Last year it was not easy as well when he arrived. So I think he did well. And then this year, after losing Richarlison and then Calvert-Lewin not coming back, we all know how injuries can really impact the season, and in these decisive positions especially. And so, yeah. That's what we in this job have to accept if these kind of things happen. But Frank will come back, definitely. It's clear. Still a young coach, young manager, and everything is ahead of him.
Looks like Sean Dyche is coming back.
No. Yeah, I don't know.
We do.
You do. It's clear. I saw Bielsa landing, so but he only had a private appointment on. Okay. Okay.
I was just thinking, was there much talk amongst those players after that performance, that defeat at Brighton, assessing, what went wrong and what the players can take from that, and as a team going into this match, albeit it's a different competition and the cup holders as well?
Yeah, being the cup holder, I don't think it's a massive advantage in the competition, so we got to start every completely new. But what we know is how great the event is if you arrive at the final. So that's of course in our mind. So that's helpful if you want. Yeah, still the worst game I ever saw of a team left on mind. So that didn't change since then. Thank God. Imagine we would have played the worst the week after. And pretty much everything went wrong there. We played complete in their cards, and we had to change the approach completely. Not only against Brighton, but in general. And we did really well in moments, in spells during the games. I think the first half against Chelsea was really disciplined. We didn't. Chelsea is a really good football team, and we didn't give them a lot to play through, which is important. That's something we have to do similar against Brighton, of course. Second half started, and we built on the first half, started really well. And then we got a bit overly excited, if you want. We were not that compact anymore. We had now we the pressing was not that coordinated anymore, and that was then Chelsea came to chances. But so that's now again something we want to work with, and that's where we want to go from. And so that would being more compact than we were at Brighton would be really helpful, to be honest. Compact in our case never means we be very deep. We cannot do that. But in the decisive areas, we have to be compact, and we have to defend them well. We respect them a lot, obviously, for good reasons. We did that before the first game as well. But we have to make it more difficult for them, and we will make it more difficult, and then we will see what we can make of that.
Because I remember with the match against Wolves in the replay, you were saying you go with your strongest team available to you. Obviously, there were a few changes, but those changes impressed. We saw the performance against Chelsea as well, building on that. So would it be a similar sort of selection to what you've had in the last 2 games?
Didn't make these decisions yet, but we have now a long training week, and after the game again, and that's something what we always use. And then everybody can show up, and if the boys who start now the games, which are good with the good spells, are look like they have to go again, then it will start again. If not, we have thank God. Up front, not too many, a little bit. Darwin is in, but in midfield we have a few options. I hope that stays like this, and that's always good. This kind of competition, how I said, who's ready to defend is more than welcome in the team, and the boys look like they understood, and now we have to show it on the pitch.
Hi, Jürgen.
Hi.
Obviously, you want to get Virgil van Dijk back when he's ready, but in the aftermath of the Brighton game, you've had 2 clean sheets. So, is that something that you talk about being compact? Is that as a manager the thing that you look at first to make sure that you keep things tight? And how encouraged have you been by those last 2 defensive performances?
I think we could have had clean sheets with Virgil as well, to be honest. But no, it's nothing to do with that. I don't think we ever had to discuss really the quality of our centre halves. And talking about that they were responsible. We didn't have clean sheets. I wouldn't say they played a perfect season so far, but it's defending, and defending is it's much more complex than talking about centre half. So yeah, clean sheets are massive for us. I know everybody waits for a performance 3-4-0 early, decided, bam, free-flowing football, and these kind of things. Yes, that's what you want to see, but that's what you have to work for. And the clean sheet is the best start into that direction, because that means you can win a game at 1-0, which is absolutely as a result completely fine from where we can go. So that's it. Yes, clean sheets are massive to us.
And you've had so much success in the cup competitions in recent years, and you're still in 2 cup competitions this season. So, when you have a good run in a competition, does that give you momentum or can it give you momentum in your league form as well?
Yeah, it can, but it's not. You cannot say it like that. You have. We are not famous for going far in FA Cup and Carabao Cup. We were last year. We went all the way, but before that, it's not that we qualified quite frequently for the Champions League final, but the other cup competitions we had to get off a bit earlier. So there's not too much. Cup competitions are then always difficult when you have these midweek games. So because you need to have an eye on it and stuff like this, and but now we have a full week to prepare the game. In our tight schedule, I'm not sure that the FA Cup should have a weekend match day, but now we have it, and that's good to prepare at least. And but will make other things more difficult. We have still 2 games in hand, where somebody has to fit in somewhere. No news about that yet. No clue when that will happen. So the further we would go in the cup competition, I think the more complicated it would be. Let's see. It's not a problem for now. And so yeah. Each good game, each good result is there, and it's not about a competition. And it's just there to give you confidence, to give you momentum, and then it's about giving it. In the moment, obviously, the job is slightly different because we have to improve in a lot of things. But when you have runs where you win 5, 6, 7 games in a row, whatever, there's a lot of work to do as well. It's not that it just happens. So it's just slightly different because one is with lesser confidence, the other one is with more confidence, which is obviously a massive difference. And so, yes, each good result gives confidence, and that's why we try to play really good at Brighton and go through to the next round.
Just going back to that defeat at Brighton, I know it's a different competition and possibly a different team this weekend, but do you refer to that performance at all in any way to the players and say, look, because it's so recent in the memory, we're going back to this place, look how bad you were this here, what we did wrong, you need to make the point of being better?
Yeah, not on a daily basis, but yes, we had, of course, we had intense talks after the Brighton game. We had to change immediately, and we did. A couple of days later, we played against Wolves, and it obviously looked completely different. I said after the game, it looked like two different sports. So, but now we will not do the meeting where I show all the bad situations from Brighton. That would be a proper horror show. No. We saw that already. We played it and saw it after, so that's fine. But of course, it was then. But if there's anything good about it, so it felt that bad for the players as well. That everybody was clear about. So it's now not about here and there a little bit. It's about a general change and improvement of different things, and that's why, how I said, you can lose a game, and we did that. And if you don't learn from it, well, then it's just a defeat. If you learn from it, then it's important as well. And we tend to do things like that.
You've named the same midfield three for the last two games. What's the dynamic that those three offer you that you've seen in the last two games?
No, it's so obviously we had injuries after Brighton or little Nicholson there, and so it was clear that we had to change anyway. So and then I like the rhythm. I like the mix of offensive things and defensive readiness. I like that. It was not the three alone, because the three alone can do nothing, but the front lines did that really good as well. And that's really important to us. You cannot. There are specific things an opponent is doing. It's not that each opponent offers absolutely everything and you have no clue what they are doing. Sometimes that can happen, but lesser with quality teams like this. It's just with teams they try to survive, then you don't know really what you prepare for. But with Brighton, a lot of things are clear what they are doing, and you have to respect them, you have to defend that. If you don't do that, then you are screwed. There's no doubt about it, and that's why we have to. It's the midfield three. Then it just worked well for these games. We will see who will start Sunday. It's not about against anybody or whatever. It's just the boys in the moment training. That's all about the midfielders. They all show up. They obviously all want to play, so that's good. That's good. And my job is then to make the decision. Let's see how it works best, and then we have 5 opportunities to change. For me, it's exactly the same importance how we start and how we finish a game. It's exactly the same. So there's might be in a player's mind slightly different, or in a journalist's mind, but for me it's the same importance. So we have 6, 7 midfielders in top shape. Perfect situation. Anyway, in our system we play now, or used to play now for a while, only 3 can start. But then you have you cannot make mistakes. Let me say that with lineups. That's good, and that's actually what that's a situation I want to be in again. So.
James. Yeah, when you talk about the midfield, is it more important than ever against a team like Brighton when they seem to have real strength in there with Caicedo, with Bajcetic?
No, yeah, it is. But against Brighton, especially, it's massively important how you defend the first line. So there are these, they're that good. But Caicedo and McAllister, and the 2 centre halves calm like hell. The goalie really calm. So they just pass the ball through. If the front three is not defending well, and that was our problem, for example, at Brighton. That's how it started. The midfield wanted, but we were never close enough. And so if you defend Brighton with 7, okay, now I don't want to make it too big. But if theoretically you defend Brighton with 7 players, no chance. So that's the situation. It's not about the midfielders and that they are good there, and that's why we have to be good there. Yes, that's one part of it. It's really about how we defend in general.
James, last one, we'll have to move on to you.
Yeah, where's Arthur Melo up to in his rehab?
I would say pretty good. So he's running a lot for him as well. I think 2-3 weeks maybe until he can join team training. But it looks good for a while already. So it was now a long injury. So he needs a real proper build-up. It was not a part of team training or whatever. Not at all. We had this week So Fabio, Carvalho is obviously out. He has a little thing, but he will not be ready. Will he be ready? Did anybody tell me that he can train today? I don't think so. But maybe he can train today, but will be not 100% ready for the weekend. Melo was not in training for 1 day, but he's fine. He's fine. There was no injury reason. Who else? Who was not in training? Ned. Ned has a proper cold. So yeah.
Just on that, do you think is there a chance he could go before the deadline next week with Reece Williams coming back from his loan at Blackpool?
It depends on the offers. So yeah, but we have to be prepared for pretty much everything. So and we don't know. The 31st is the deadline day, and we'll see. I don't know.
There's been a Sunday game that got 2 breakouts. We go on to